There once lived a knave on the banks of the Avon, back in those faraway days, priestly and bridey, and in handwriting tidy, he wrote a great number of plays. If you have leisure, you probably not, read Measure for Measure. Oh, what a plot. From this play and others, Puritan mothers should realize in hundreds of ways Shakespeare was a playboy, in every kind of sense. It's a wonder those who understood him didn't take offense. If Queen Eliza had been wise, then the Tower she'd have had him confined. Shakespeare had a dirty mind. William Shakespeare, his monikers, Titus Andronicus, over his folios at 4. If your reader, Troilus and Cressida, should show you the type he wrote for. If knowledge, dear fellow, you'd yearn to increase, you should read Othello. My, what a piece. Desdemona Virago, according to Yardo, caused jealousy crime by the more. Oh, Shakespeare was a playboy, in every kind of sense. It's a wonder those who understood him didn't take offense. Wives of Windsor make you grin, so read the play and you'll very soon find Shakespeare had a dirty mind. Look at that Romeo and Juliet play you read a play about. You realize that girl's only 13 and a half. Jolly lucky there wasn't a doctor's case about it afterwards. You remember the story. Romeo's people and hers had a Freud on at the time, so he couldn't call properly. Instead he called improperly at her bedroom window, and she said, "Wherefore art thou Romeo?" He said it was his mother's fault and hated the name himself, and she answered, "Soft rose by any other name would smell like fish." Afterwards, more equally brilliant repartee, Romeo bundled off, I said, to a chap called Friar Tuck, I think that's pronounced correctly, and fixed up a wedding which took place next day in secret, or sub rosa, or any other name which would smell as sweet. Now, Juliet's parents wanted her to go to Paris to be finished, absolutely. Paris was a man, not the place, by the way, so she would have been, as they didn't know she'd already been married to Romeo about 5 hours of synagogue. When her mother told Juliet that she'd had the bands called, Jack Hilton's and Geraldo's, and fixed the wedding day, and Juliet said, "Goodness gracious," aloud, and foul things in Italian under her breath, like, "Mia spaghetti dolorosa." And then she got on her pushbike and pedaled away to Thingumbob Tuck, and he gave her a fraction of stuff that would send her to sleep for a couple of days. Everyone would think she was dead, and they would bury her instead of marrying her to Paris and making her a bigamista, feminine the bigamist in Italian. Old Fiery Truck also said he would send a Latin letter, i.e. a dirty postcard, to Romeo, who meanwhile had vanished. Alas, when Juliet woke up, she found herself under the sod, i.e. buried, and on climbing from the tomb, to her horror and surprise, there was Romeo full of chemist's arsenic and Paris full of Romeo's rapier. He never received the PC from Friar Tuck. Be or not to be, quoted Juliet. Decided on the latter and promptly committed harikari, Japanese for he's a jolly good PWC. So they put her under the sod again. Oh, one thing I own is Venus Madonis is not as naughty as one would suppose. Likewise, neither then is the Merchant of Venice, but his sonnets you ought to read those. If a book show the owner in a different class, read Two Gents of Verona, crumbs for the farm. And though Coriolanus is not so vain as love's labour's lost, it still shows that Shakespeare was a playboy in every kind of sense. It's a wonder those who understood him didn't take offence. Your mistake on thinking Bacon wrote the dramas where he was refined, while Shakespeare had a dirty mind.